All right, so we're going to do quadruped open chain mobility. So we're going to start with C-spine. So we're just going to start top and go down. Then we're going to do scapula. We'll do shoulder. We'll do hip. And then we'll finish out with the knee, the foot, and the ankle. Right, so when we start this out, we're going to stay in the quadruped position, try to engage as much as we can, and then we're just opening up that cervical spine. So I'm going to look to the left, extend all the way back, come across, look to the right, and then drive my chin down into my chest. Then the other way, chin's in the chest, looking right, extending all the way back, looking left, flex down into my chest. Right, and we'll do about 5 to 10 each way. If you feel some undue tension, right? If you feel pain, stay away from the pain, right? Don't drive into that pain. Just kind of circle around or stay outside of that little area of pain. So let's say I have pain here, or pain here when I rotate over. So I just won't rotate as far, and then I'll still extend back, rotate as far as I can the other way, and come down. And that's just going to keep us away from, obviously, injuring ourselves. And then as I do this, if I start to get mobility and I have less pain and I can go further into that angle, then cool, go ahead and go further into that angle. If not, that's okay, just stay away from it. Now we'll go into scapula. So I'm going to elevate scapula, right? Protract, depress, retract. Elevate, protract, depress, retract. And I can go the other way. And then my goal is to try to smooth this out as I drive through. And we'll go again 5 to 10 each way for those scapular rotations or open chain mobility. Then we've got shoulder. So I'm going to start palm in. I'm going to come up as high as I can, start internally rotating, coming around, coming around, coming around, coming around. And then when I end, my palm's going to be out, my thumb's going to be facing up towards the sky. And then from my hip, I'm going to come back up around, external rotation, external rotation, external rotation. Palm is in, and I'm bringing my palm back down to the ground. So again, we'll do that 5 to 10 times on one side, and then 5 to 10 on the other. So I'll show you the other, right? Overhead extension, and then internal rotation, trying to bring it back as far as I can, internal rotation, and then palm is out, thumb is up as it's down in that hip position, and then I'm going to bring it back. External rotation, external rotation, external rotation. Boom, palm is in overhead and hand back down. So again, we'll do that 5 to 10 times on that side. And then from here, I'm just going to do some flexion of the spine and then some extension of the spine. So I'm looking up as high as I can. Flexion, extension. And then I'm going to actually try to open up. So from here, I'm going to go palm to my chest, drive that elbow high, and then from elbow, I'm going to reach my hand as high as I can, and then back down, boom, to the ground. Palm to the chest, drive, open up my chest, drive elbow as high as I can, hand as high as I can, back down, all the way to the ground. And I'll do 5 to 10 on each side. Spinal rotation, or we're really working on T-spine there. There might be a little bit of hip, but the hips are fairly locked from these knees being on the ground, right? And that hand being on the ground, it's locking out my C-spine. So as you notice, I've got some T-spine limitation. I had a past injury for about 8 years ago, so I don't have as much rotation as probably you will, but I'll make up for that with my hip rotation, hopefully, right? Then we've got hip. So from here, I'm going to go knees out, around and back, and then come back around, circle back around. And then if I can, I'm going to drive my knee as far forward as I can. Up, back and around. Heel up nice and high. So everything's locked out, and probably you're going to feel a ton of tension here in this kind of upper outer hip area. That's okay. That's just because we don't tend to explore that area, so the nerves get confused and then they cramp because we don't flex those muscles as much as maybe we should, right? So as we do this, we'll get a lot better at it. I'm going to go up and around. Again, I'm going to go 5 to 10 on each side. And then from here, I'm going to take my foot and bring it up. I'm going to keep that knee on the ground. And so if I'll show you from this side, if that knee is on the ground, right? It's basically locking that out. I'm gonna not try to move my hip as much as possible, lock that hip into place, drive that knee into the ground, and then from there, I'm gonna try to circle my foot as big as I can all the way around one side, boom, circle all the way around the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a little tibial rotation, right? So you can see it here better. So tibial rotation as well as ankle rotation, inversion, eversion, and then my foot is also going to get involved in that as well. So dorsiflexion, dorsi-extension in that position. So working all of that together to try to create sort of a knee down global integrated mobility, right? And that mobility should engage you. So in order to finish this warm up, we're going to also finish with just some basic outside circles, and I'm going to try to get my hips involved in that a little bit as well. So in these outside circles, I'm gonna start small and start slow. So where we always start, and then slowly work to bigger and bigger and bigger outside circles. But in that, I'm also gonna get my lower body involved too. So I'm gonna go up and down and do a little bit of hip hinge while I do these circles. They're gonna help me provide power, but also help me warm up that lower body as I'm doing these circles down to the end of the anchor. And so my challenge to you is try to do 100 circles in a row. If you can't, break it up 50-50, 25, 25, 25, 25, or 10 sets of 10, and really try to get that lower body involved with that upper body. And then you'll be ready, warmed up to do whichever workout is put in front of you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 more rounds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 more rounds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And done.
Okay, so you finished your workout, you're ready for your cool down. So the main thing that we want to focus on is our breath. We want to begin that recovery process. So we want to force our body into that rest and digest. Most workouts put us into at least a little bit of that freeze, fight, flight. That's not going to be helpful for our recovery process, right? That's going to change our hormone structure and all that stuff to kind of get us into this high adrenaline, high cortisol position. So we want to remove that and get back to rest and digest so that we can start to recover and make those adaptations, whether they be power or strength or endurance, generating more mobility or more stability or more integration, nervous adaptations. So we'll focus on diaphragmatic breath through that. So we're always going to be at least initiating our breath here down below, expanding that belly, right, with our diaphragm, and then maybe a little bit of rise in the chest. And then trying to extend that exhale. So if my inhale through my nose is about 4 seconds or 3 seconds, I want to try, if I can, to double that exhale. And again, you could do inhale, exhale through the nose. That actually helps kind of settle everything down. Unless you got a lot of boogers and snot, of course, then you could do it through the mouth, which sometimes that is the case. So breathing through here. And then as I continue those breaths, I'm going to sink into some of my stretches. So we'll start in this standing position and we'll just do a basic tricep stretch. But as I'm stretching my tricep, I'm also trying to engage and stretch my lat and open up even my shoulder joint here, glenohumeral joint. So I'm breathing in, exhale. And the whole time, I'm also trying to pull my elbow back without extending and spilling into my spine. So I use breath to count. So you're going to do anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths in each position. We'll switch to the other side. Again, breathing in, I hold, breathing out. I try to drive that stretch, that passive stretch, a little bit deeper into the musculature, deeper into those soft tissues. And then we'll go across the body here. So breathe in, breathe out. Again, 5 to 10 breaths for that side. 5 to 10 breaths for this side. All right, now basic quad stretch. So I'm standing up nice and tall. If you have a lack of balance, there's no point in trying to do this stretch because you're not going to focus on your stretch. You're going to focus on your balance. So grab onto something that gives you some stability, and you're going to try to pull that knee, line it up with the other knee, sink down into this knee and hip a little bit, drive through the floor with all 4 points of contact with the foot, so 2 in the ball, 2 in the heel, as I pull this knee back and then pull this heel up towards my butt. Right? If you have a lack of mobility and you can't even reach that foot, you can go laying on the ground and then put a strap, like maybe one of our anchor straps, right? You can put the strap around your ankle here and start to just slowly pull that forward. So laying on the ground is gonna automatically line up knee to knee. We'll go to the other side. Again, 5 to 10 breaths, and as I breathe in, I hold. As I breathe out, I try to go a little bit deeper into that stretch. And then still from the standing position, I'm gonna on purpose sort of bend my knee a little bit. That's gonna help engage the belly of this hamstring here. And so I'm gonna pull this toe up towards me, slightly bend this knee, stay nice and long through my spine here. I should already start to feel some tension and a grab in my hamstring. That's perfect. And then as I come down a little bit further, I'm gonna feel more and more. And then if you want to, you can do small little bits of rotation, nice and slow, as you breathe through this hamstring stretch, right? And it's getting all of those hamstring muscles as opposed to just a single muscle, like bicep femoris or something like that. Then we'll hit the other side, same thing. Awesome. Now we're gonna get inside the hip. So I'm gonna drop down almost like I'm doing a lateral lunge, but my focus is inside of this hip. And then from there, I'm gonna do some upper body stretches. So stretches for my T-spine and lat and scapula. So I'm gonna reach across. Do a couple of breaths in this position, reach across the other way. Couple of breaths in that position, reach over the top. 5 or so breaths in that position, reach over the top the other way. And then I'm gonna slide to the other side. So the beauty of this, if I'm doing this correctly, I'm also gonna get a stretch here, right, in my soleus, maybe even a little bit of gastrocnemius, but probably the soleus as I'm bending my knee, right? I'm really trying to get some more dorsiflexion out of that as well. I'm gonna feel a little bit of engagement and stretch through maybe quadricep, maybe hamstring as I'm in this position, definitely glute, and then you're also gonna feel it right here in the inner thigh or in the groin. And then as I do these upper body rotations and stretches, I'm gonna feel some stretch here in my T-spine, but I'm also gonna feel maybe even more of a stretch down here or back here, up in my hip or in my lower back or in my QL. I mean, there's a ton of ways that your body is gonna feel the tension in this, and it's just all in where you're holding that tension in that musculature, in those kinetic chains, right? And then we'll go to the other side. We'll go up over the top. And then the other way. All right, so those are just a couple of quick kind of passive stretches where I'm trying to sit into certain musculature to open it up, get a little bit more mobility, get a little bit more of a stretch. But most important, we're trying to bring that high intensity down, start that rest, digest, recovery process, and then go about the rest of our day. Should feel nice and focused. You didn't give up. You didn't quit. You stayed after it. You earned that little recovery cool down, and now you can go about crushing your day or going to bed, having a restful night's sleep.